Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I literally sound so bad. Sorry, I'm in the process of recovering my voice. Crazy weekend, having shows and everything, but I'm so excited for today's video because we have my mother, Angela, with us today. This is who we are always referring to when we say, you heard that, Angela. You heard that, Angela? Well, now you have the answer of if she has or not. But I'm so excited today. We are going to be transforming her into this gorgeousness. And she'll be answering some questions that I think a few of you, I think it'll be an important video for you guys to see. She'll be answering some questions about having a trans kid and us growing up biracial and all this other type of stuff. So if you would like to watch how I do all of this and listen to some of the questions that we have, then just stay tuned. And on that note, let's head on over to the transformation station. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said in the intro, my voice is gone, but it's fine because she's gonna be doing most of the talking today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started and start blocking out her brows and start answering some questions. Oh my God. Why did you press send?
I know you didn't put it on.
I hate you for that. You've never had glue in your brows. I've turned you into Ursula twice now, and this is the first time we've blocked your brows out. So, my mother is extra, and at work for Halloween, they always do crazy things each department. So, one year they decided to do The Little Mermaid, and of course, my mother being the person she is, decided I want to be Ursula. So I had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to put her in full drag to go to work as a purple sea witch. And I still had to go to school. I think you still have the picture on your Instagram, so we'll put the picture up right
Yeah.
So what was AJ like?
Extra is the good word. Completely extra. Always putting on shows and creating stuff. She is super loud, always singing and dancing. Even when she played sports, she played football and baseball.
I didn't know about that.
Oh yes.
Oh God.
And she would get in trouble for dancing in the football field in the background. She was a great player. She was actually very fast and strong, but she would get in trouble during practice because she would be doing Michael Jackson moves over in the back of the field.
I think my favorite was me playing, just spinning circles in the outfield during T-ball.
Oh yes.
And getting in trouble for picking daisies.
And chasing butterflies. I would scream and yell and pay attention, but it never worked.
No.
Everybody thinks that ARA is super funny and they all love her, so they just kind of laugh and they just expect it. It is what it is.
Yeah, okay, that brings up a question that I've never even thought about. Have any other parents or anybody ever said anything to you about me that you just hid from me and didn't say?
Yes. One specifically, and I will not name names. I'll tell you off camera who it is, but,
okay.
And it wasn't really said to me, it was said to a mutual friend that they couldn't believe that I let you act like you do in public.
Okay, continue.
There was a great friend of mine's son is a cancer survivor, so they would have these cancer fundraisers once a year, this big deal in Birmingham. And you were dancing and being extra as usual.
Was this at the after party?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the comment was said. And so that kind of frustrated me. But then the same person would get in your face and love on you and tell you how great you are. And so that was frustrating, and I never told you.
Is that the only one?
That I know about, yes.
So I actually know about another situation that you've never told me about.
Really?
That when I was first put into Little Mermaid, I was put onto the female cast, and that you emailed him and said, that is my son. He needs to be in the male ensemble, not the female ensemble. He said he has held that with him and he has remembered that story, and he just told me about it last year.
I honestly don't remember that. I'm not saying that it didn't happen.
Right.
Because then, you were 7 or 8.
I was 11 or 12.
No, not
Yes, I
here.
was.
Oh, maybe. Well, that shows in my memory I'm old, but I honestly don't remember that.
Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, oh my God. Because they didn't know what my birth name was. They just knew that it was AJ on everything. There was the other AJ who was in the female ensemble, so they just put us both in that one. And then he said that you sent an email and was like,
That could very possibly be true. I do not remember that, but I'm not denying it.
No, when you told me that, I like laughed so hard.
Yeah. When she first told me, like I've said many times to her, it was not my most shining moment as a parent. That was my main thing, is I thought it was a phase. I think she was 15, maybe 16.
I was 16.
It's not that I didn't believe it, but I just continued to tell her that, you know, at 25 and 30, I was a totally different person than I was at 15. How do you really know? And to make such a drastic, major life decision, I just thought that, not necessarily it was a phase, but I just wanted her to have more time, I guess, to really think about it.
Well, also something that I remember you talking about was you saw me on YouTube all the time watching I Am Jazz and watching all of these trans people talk about their story, which for me was me like finding out that there was a word for how I was feeling, and there was like other people who felt this way. But for you, you just saw me watching videos and seeing a new trend on the internet.
Yeah, and that's a good word, trend. You know, RuPaul was just really becoming really mainstream and really becoming popular, and more people were, you know, getting into drag, and I really thought it could have been a phase. I'll just be completely honest. At the time, I know now that it wasn't, but I completely thought it was. She was the master of hiding stuff. And how she would get caught, I would see other students' pictures or Snapchats or whatever.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah. And I would see her in different clothes than she left in, more girly clothes, or have makeup on at school.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah. I mean, what was the use of me saying anything? It's not like it was gonna change.
So then how come every time I would ask, you would say no, even though you knew I was doing it anyway?
It all came, okay, when you first started going to school, like junior high school, when you were at a mainstream regular school, it was a little different. And then when you got into the School of Fine Arts, I was completely okay with whatever, because all those kids are kind of artistic and creative, and they were all a little, you know, awkward, and, you know, you were at that age.
I know.
So, you know, I didn't really care as much, but then you decided to go to a different back to public high school for your junior and senior year. That's when I got a little worried, just because the school that even though you were in a theater program and a theater department within this public school, it's not in the best neighborhood. And the kids can be a little rougher. Which
is the neighborhood that I live in now.
True. And I was just worried about, to be honest, I was worried about you being bullied or treated different, or, you know, the kids making fun of you. And it wasn't that I didn't want you to look a certain way. It was just I was worried about how you would be perceived at school. Seeing her at the school, it was never any of that. I think her school is a little different than most trans or gay children. She was always really popular because she was a theater kid that could sing and dance, and so everybody liked her. So I think that you had a different school experience than most.
Because a lot of trans people or gay people are just kind of like, they're the trans person, they're the gay person, and that's all there is. But I was friends with every clique, I was friends with the football kids, like I was just in every group. So I think you had a really good high school experience as far as that's concerned, but I was still worried about it in the back of my mind. So, you know, if I could keep you from wearing high heels and false eyelashes to high school, I tried. I never wore eyelashes in school. I never wore eyelashes because I didn't know how to steal your glue and your eyelashes.
Because I need it every day.
Exactly. And you would take it with you. And that's what would upset me, because you usually, like if we were going out, you would leave your glue at home because you didn't need it. But when you go to work, you always take it with you.
Because you got to be prepared. What if one comes off or comes undone on the ends?
Actually, a lot of the heels and stuff that I would wear would be my friends, because they, at the time, my foot was not a giant like it is now. They would get tired of wearing their heels all day, and I'd be like, I'll switch with you. And I would give them my tennis shoes so that I could wear their heels all day.
And those are the pictures that I would see on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever.
Who's Snapchat? Who did you follow?
Well, you know, I used to follow because I used to keep up with y'all when y'all were in school. Now I don't follow any of your friends or anything like that now that you're an adult.
You heard that, Sam? She don't follow you.
Any whoosies.
I mean, I'll be honest, the original reason I was able to even become friends with like the football players and everyone was because they, up until about 2 months of me starting to go to school there, they didn't know that I was trans. And so I was able to get away with like just being me at school. And that's the other thing is I don't think I never went by he at my last high school. My teachers called me she, everyone did.
Yeah.
The only person who wouldn't would be the theater teacher because I told him, because he's known me for so long, A, but B, I knew that knowing him and the type of person he is, when you were around, he wouldn't be able to switch back to he without like messing up and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. And I truly think that him being your theater director and being a teacher at the school helped too.
Oh yeah.
Because Carl is probably the coolest person on the planet.
Absolutely.
And he's so non-judgmental and he just loves everybody and all the kids love him, and because you belong to him, I think that helped as well.
Absolutely. And that was the thing is like every kid in school knew him because everyone was like, oh, he's the new cool teacher that like everybody likes, because kids would take theater because they thought it was an easy class to pass, which it was not, because he was teaching us like the history of theater. They would take it because they thought it was an easy A, but then they started taking it because they thought he was the cool teacher. Well, cut to, I'm in his class basically every single day because I wouldn't go to my classes.
You heard that.
I heard it. ARA has been grounded from the 7th grade until junior year. I'm not
That's
lying.
not a joke. I didn't have a birthday for like 6 years straight.
Grounded 6 years straight, I think. Would never do a lick of schoolwork, classwork, homework. The only thing that she ever did was projects because, once again, extra and creating stuff. But all her school projects would have rhinestones and sequins on them. She was an awful student, but super smart. Am I lying?
No, it's just the way you said it.
Where's the lie? But super smart, always in the gifted program, super high IQ, very, very smart, knows the most useless, so much useless knowledge, but just hated school. Had a full ride theater scholarship to a college, but almost didn't graduate. Was gonna be the only person I know with a scholarship that didn't get to go because she didn't graduate. She got out of high school by the seat of her pants barely. It's like,
absolutely.
we didn't know that she was gonna graduate until the last semester.
Because I almost failed English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told
smart.
you, she's super smart.
I didn't do my homework.
Smart.
And that class was only homework. But the thing is, the classes that I would fail, like math, I always passed with an A, no matter what. I finished math in my junior year, so my senior year I didn't have to take it at all. I'm like, math is my subject. But when it came to like the class that you always got mad at me for failing, I failed history, and I had to go to summer school for history, which is literally just memorizing facts. That is all it is. There was nothing about history that was interesting, so I literally just didn't do it.
Literally. At that point, I had given up, so she wasn't grounded her senior year.
The thing is, my senior year, I would do my homework, and I did everything, and like, okay, I need to apply to college just to show her that I can do it. So I applied to one college and got a scholarship for it. But I literally was like, I'm gonna apply to college just to show her. So that year I was like, let me keep my grades as good as I can, except for English, do what I can. And so I did. And that literally the only reason I applied to college was to prove to her that I could do it.
Yeah, I knew she was never gonna go.
Cut to me at 7 years old telling you I'm never going to college. And as fast as I can, I'm moving out of Alabama.
You would have failed out anyway.
Especially in college,
especially
because
with nobody on you.
Nobody's on you and nobody's telling you you have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have failed out anyway.
I mean, I won't say that I had like the easiest
No,
time with it.
But compared to some of the stories that I've read and heard, I think that you've been very lucky with the people that you have surrounded yourself with.
Oh, definitely. Well, that's the thing is I've grown up my whole life, like, I'm not going to surround myself with people that I don't think have my best interest.
Yeah.
Because my favorite quote of all time is those who matter don't mind and those who mind don't matter. And like, to me, that's the way that I've lived my life. I don't surround myself with people who don't matter.
You're the same now as you were at 5. I want to say me, if that's not sounding too conceited. I feel like I feel like I'm a very strong-willed person as well. And I hope that I've passed that on to all 3 of my children. I've tried to always teach them just to be who they are and stand up for others and don't tolerate any less. And I think also she surrounded herself with really great people that have been really good influences.
That's a good answer. I feel like on Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer.
Show me great mom.
I think there's such a stereotype for white women that have biracial children, and I didn't want to be that stereotype. So I was always really strict with my children.
Because you have always been, not right now, but you've always been like super tan and dark hair and all that type of stuff.
Yes, yes. And it was I was at a local grocery store. Will not name the name. In case this person still works there.
Yikes.
So yeah, I was in the grocery store line and getting checked out. And in the summer, I'm super tan. My hair is always really dark. And the lady just kind of looked at me and she says, "What are you?" And she said it just like that. And it took me a minute to realize that she was asking, you know, what ethnicity I was. And I told her that I was Caucasian. I was white. And then she asked why I was so dark. And I told her that I'm Indian because my family is Indian. And she said, and I quote, "Are you a ha Indian or a red dot Indian?"
Products of living in Alabama.
So I honestly didn't say anything. I was so shocked at what I just heard. I just kind of took my money and said, "Okay, have a nice day." What do you say to that?
That's a whole nother level of something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't even know why we're telling that story.
Because you had Brianna with you and they were asking about like, I mean, you left this part out, I don't know why, but it's like, they were asking how you had a child that was as dark as Brianna was, but like blonde hair and all that stuff. So she was confused about what you were.
Yeah, like I dealt with that.
Brianna's my oldest sister.
Yeah, I've dealt with that kind of racism, you know, ever since I've had children. You know, we were in the grocery store when Brianna was first born because Brianna is, out of all three children, Brianna is the lightest. She's probably she might even be lighter than me.
She passes for like just a white woman.
Yeah, and she's blonde and she's got green hazel eyes. And so we were at the grocery store and she was about maybe 6 weeks old or something like that. And her dad was holding her and I was putting the groceries up on the conveyor belt. And this old elderly black woman in front of us turned around and she looked right at my husband at the time and said, "That is not your child." And it was like, okay. I mean, what do you say to that? You know, people just say the craziest things. And I don't know why people feel it's okay to say things to strangers.
When she said it wasn't his child, did she mean like you had an affair and like that's not his actual child? Or like,
I don't know what she meant.
These are things we've dealt with our whole life though.
Yeah.
And that's why like you raise all three of us like, do not leave the house without looking put together and without looking like.
Because I feel like they're being judged already from the beginning. So it was always important for me to always have them, you know, have their best front forward because they're already being judged before people even get to know them. And that's on all all races. Like my middle daughter, who looks more Hispanic than biracial.
We all three look like we're different races.
Yeah. But my middle daughter was at, somebody came to her work and tried to get her to translate for them, like
I
Spanish.
didn't know this.
And Ariana said, I don't speak Spanish. They thought she was Hispanic and could translate for them. I think, I agree. I think my oldest daughter, just because she's so pale and blonde, I think that she struggles with it the most out of all three. You know, for some white people, you know, she's not white enough for this family member, or she's not black enough for this family member. And I think she really struggles with that. Yeah.
Welcome to her life. Because now not only does she have to, not only is she dealing with that, but now she has to deal with having an LGBT child as well.
Not only do I have a black child, I've got a black trans child. Can you give me a break? In the South, can you give me a break? I have known, now I didn't know to the extent that she would that she would be trans. I didn't know to that extent, but I knew from the minute that she started walking and talking that she was gay. Like she's never been in the closet.
Never.
Never.
Yeah, you still asked me.
Well, because I just needed confirmation. Like,
I don't know why.
I
was in theater, I was in dance, I wore
that
high
doesn't
heels, I
always
wore
mean
makeup.
That doesn't always mean everything. But yeah, people always say, like, I'm such a believer that you're born that way. Like, I've known there's never been any doubt. And but I wanted confirmation, and I wanted her to feel comfortable. So I'll never forget maybe she was 14, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the car and we were driving.
Do you remember the song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Rick Springfield, Jesse's Girl was playing.
I love that you remember that.
Like it was such a moment. Of course I remember. And I don't know what possessed me, but we were singing.
Because
we
were singing, but we were
sang
also...
and danced in the car, and all of a sudden I just turned the music down. I said, AJ, I said, are you gay? He was like, duh. And I was like, okay. We turned it back up and that was it. I just wanted you to feel comfortable enough to talk to me about things like that. So I just wanted to confirm it. This is what you are. I know it. It's fine. Let's move on. And that was that.
We met. I'm gonna darken your car.
Because I'm prettier.
And y'all wonder where I get it from. Oh, I'm so happy this video is happening.
You think it's because I've always held you to such high standards?
I think so.
Maybe?
I really do think so.
And part of that could be, I don't mean to steal your thunder.
No, you're good. I don't want to answer this question.
Not only am I her biggest fan, I'm also her biggest critic.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but I feel like that when you ask me advice on things, whether it's your song, she sends me all of her drag, usually when she creates it or when she does it. I think you want honest opinions. So if I think something looks bad or it's not good, I tell you that doesn't look good.
Or you'll say cute, which is your favorite phrase. And I always, anytime you say cute, I'm like, okay, time to rethink this.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's why too, but I do it completely out of love and it's not mean.
No. I think it's, I've seen what you've had to go through in life from just me being your child. And I know that what you've had to go through to get us where we are was a lot. Yeah. And so to me, it's like, how could you not trust somebody who went through all of that work to get you where you are? Why do you not think that they would think of you in like the best way or want them to see you that way? So I never want to do anything that makes her like not happy with the person that I'm becoming.
Let's just keep it real. It's because my drag knowledge is so great.
Yeah, that part. And yes, this is the person that I have grown up with, and that is why I am the way that I am.
And I think too, but you know, even though you don't want to give or even give him any time, screen time, video time, whatever, is I think that's another reason that I'm so overly supportive of you is because I know that you say it doesn't bother you, but it has to in some way has to bother you.
That he's not in my life?
Yes. That he chooses not to be.
That's the thing. Because there are people who their dad is not in their life. It's not like they just said, oh, I don't want to be here. Like there's reasons. Yeah. But
you and him were extremely close.
That's what's even crazier is like we were super, super close. And then like, it's not like I ever came out to him or like talked about anything in front of him.
And he's never actually come out and said, I don't want to be in your life because of this or that. He just cut off all communication and he lives 15 minutes from us. And we've not heard or seen him in 3 years, I guess, 4 years.
It's been more than that. I haven't seen him since I did In the Heights, which was 9th grade.
So
it's been about 5 years now.
I try to make up for what you're missing from him.
The time about, how long ago was it? Like 7 months ago when I called you right after getting my nails done. Yeah. That he was walking into the restaurant that literally was right next to the nail salon. And we walked right past each other and he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
What happens if your child wants to undergo medical procedures?
I think it's just, in the back of my mind, my biggest concern is what if she changes her mind? What if she feels different later? What, and it's it's a permanent thing. Mm-hmm. So what if, you know, not that I think it's a phase or anything like that anymore. I know better now, but what if you feel differently 10 years from now?
Right.
You know.
So the thing about that, like I told you when I came out 3 years ago, I've known, or at least thought that I was trans since I was 15. I just didn't have a word for it. Look up. I just didn't have a word for it. And so I always had to I just kind of, I'm different.
Yeah.
And yes, you don't always know who you are at a young age or whatever, but I mean, it's 5 years later now.
Yeah.
I still feel the exact same way, and I honestly, when people call me he or call me by my dead name, it makes me like, it sends me into like this like anxiety attack sometimes.
Right.
And that's how I know that it's not just a phase, because it's not like, oh, I feel more comfortable with she, her instead of he.
Right.
It's, I literally cannot be called he. Otherwise I will like go into a panic attack.
And I understand that now. I mean, the minute you left out of my room, probably telling me that, I've started reading just so I could
what
understand.
things were you looking up? And like, what were you looking for?
Just what, you know, if other parents were feeling like I was, because at the time I've tried always to be so supportive of you guys, and for something that was so important to you, I felt bad because I was totally against it at the time. You know, so how could I wanted to make sure other parents that were supportive of their gay children, if what I was feeling was valid, or if I was just this horrible person, you know, that was feeling all and, you know, questioning their things.
Right.
You know, if other people felt the same way. Like a clown right now with no eyelashes. You're not gonna put that on the video, are you? No, this part right here is not on, is it?
Yeah, it's still in there.
Oh gosh. I know.
That's not my.
Yeah, because she's always like,
Yes.
It-
I was like, there's so much makeup on the top of it. She's like, I didn't do that.
whenever she would do mine or her sister's makeup, like she does it at our kitchen table, and it's black and it's covered. Yeah, she's like, what are you doing? She's always been very fearless, I think. I think that's a good word. Like at dance competitions growing up, or, you know, just anywhere, you know, even when, you know, me and her are just walking through the mall and people are looking and I see people staring. Honey, she doesn't care. She's sashaying up and down the mall. Like, I mean, and I've always admired that about her. I wish I could be more like that. She's always been very fearless. I think that's a great word.
The thing is like, it sounds like I'm just saying this, but like I literally learned it from you, because like you go out with your hair teased and you had the makeup and you were always done up and you were always in your stilettos and everything. And it was just like,
I still am. What do
exactly,
you mean what?
Exactly. But like, I've always seen that as like, oh, that's what a woman is supposed to be like. You were, this is very much like that scene in Burlesque whenever they're getting ready and she's talking about like, I used to watch my mom put on makeup.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's literally what this is right now.
Yes.
But like, that's what it was. It's like, I would sit there and watch you do makeup and.
Yes. When my children were on a dance competition team, you know, the moms had different roles and that was my role. I did all the little girls' makeup and I put on false eyelashes on, you know, 20 little girls, and ARA would just be like watching, you know, like in awe. So do you feel like that people will treat you different? Do you worry about that?
Well, I would say yes if you would have asked me when I came out to you. I say no now because that's all, everybody who is still in my life, that is how they know me. Nobody knows me as anything different.
Yeah.
And I don't introduce myself as anything different. So that's just what people know. So to me, I can't say that I think they will, because I don't know what it'll be like to not.
Yeah. Do you feel like, and this is one thing that I do worry about if we're just being honest,
Right.
Do you worry about dating and telling people that you're trans?
So I do not, I mean, I worry about it obviously because it's a dangerous world that we live in. Every time I talk to somebody, it is the first thing I tell people. I don't try to hide it because it's gonna come out, and it's dangerous for me to try to hide it because you hear all these horror stories.
And I think that's what concerns me too. That's one of my biggest concerns. It's not you, but it's how you're treated. I worry about that so much.
So I do want you to know that I'm always safe about anything. Anytime I'm going to hang out with somebody like that. Sharon has my location turned on, Nick has my location turned on, Sam has my location, and I send the exact address of where I am going every single time. I know the world we live in, and I know that it's dangerous, and so I don't want you to think. The thing is, whether I'm trans or whether I was just a gay boy, the probability of me living in Alabama and being harassed or being like in danger is going to happen no matter which one it is.
I agree.
So it was one of those things of like, I'm not gonna get away from it, and it's not something that like, I'm not gonna stop living my life just for the fact that I might get hurt or
I agree.
just because other people are stupid. Like, I'm not gonna stop living my life.
Especially the industry that you work in. That's one of my biggest concerns is that, you know, is somebody going to pretend like they're okay with it just to get you in a situation? You know, that really worries me.
And I mean, that's definitely things that I think about all the time, and they're things that scare me sometimes because I look at these stories that I see online and see stories about girls who, like, there was 3 trans girls who were literally just walking down the street, and next thing you know, they were being like hit over the head with like boxes and all this other type of stuff. And like, you hear about these things and it scares you, but you can't just live your life in fear. And that's always been my thing, is that like, and that's why I'm fearless, is because like, I'm not gonna stop living my life because other people were not raised correctly.
Okay.
You also love Halloween so much that you wanted to make your Christmas tree.
Oh, I do. I want a black Christmas tree, but currently my husband refuses to allow that. So,
Well, because your Halloween is his Christmas. So
yes, he loves Christmas, and I hate it. And he hates Halloween, and I love it. So.
Okay, guys, so we're gonna go off camera, do the finishing touches. We're gonna put on all the little accessories and do some hair, and we'll be right back. So let's transform. Okay, guys, and we went off camera and we finished up the look. I hope that you love it. How do you feel?
Pretty. That sounded so stupid. That's not a good word. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. How do you feel?
I don't want to tell everybody that I'm a freaking drag queen every day, though.
But it's true. You wear lashes every day.
Every day.
It's what it is.
Okay.
So I'm not redoing that. I want that to be what it is.
No.
So we went off camera and we put her in this little blush pink fur coat. I put on a little blue gown, so we're the trans flag colors. I literally hate my voice so much right now. But we're gonna answer our like final questions and everything, and then that'll be it. So final questions. So when I introduced you to like the whole chosen family, what was that story, and how did you meet everyone, and what happened then?
Well, you were 17 and sneaking into the bars performing, and you decided you were going to do a pageant. So the night of the pageant is the first night that I met everyone. I came to see you perform and compete in the pageant, and you had accidentally left some of your pads at home. And so we were rushing to the bar to get them to you before the pageant started. So I met Sharon at the door. Give me her pads, hurry, hurry. And I handed off the pads, and he's like, I'm Sharon, by the way, bye. And that was it.
And so, did you meet Barry that night, or
after you had won the pageant? We went to the back to help you gather up all your stuff, and that's where I met Barry and Sharon. I would be a terrible parent if I did not say that it was awful that knowing that my child was sneaking into the bars, but I knew that you have a good head on your shoulders. You don't drink. I don't have to worry about anything like that. I knew it was all business for you. You were going performing and you were heading home. So that made it a little bit better. But knowing that you were at a bar and had to be at school the next morning was a little.
That was the thing, is like, I would go out to the bars on like Thursday night for the open stage. Yeah. And then Friday morning I had to be at school at, what time do you have to be at school? Like 6:45 in the morning? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that to get in the video. I was just making that she can't do well in school and she don't even know what time she's supposed to be there.
Do you have any questions or anything that you want to know about moving forward from this?
Why you won't let me play with your wig?
Oh my God. So on that note, we are done with today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to, you can go down below and find my Instagram, which is ARA_vanity. Make sure that you go down below, like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And I think that's it. So until next time, bye.